countries like India, which have actually made immense strides in the area of EI, are really positioned to benefit from this. China has made remarkable progress. I think it's unprecedented. Rare earth minerals are really not that rare. They're available in many places, including in India. India has the possibility, but again, it's the same as scaling up renewables, is developing the industrial capacity for processing and refining that is going to be at the crux of this.
Do you see AI-driven energy models reshaping how developing countries plan infrastructure investments?
Absolutely. I think the advent of AI is going to be revolutionary for the energy industry. And in my mind, it's a little bit like when we got mobile telephony. When we had the fixed landline infrastructure, it was very hard for people to actually get access to telephony. With the mobiles, it was revolutionary. We had talked about the digital divide, but it didn't turn into a reality. And what we have is a democratization of telephony. And similarly, with AI, the opportunity for developing countries in terms of planning their energy infrastructure, in terms of making their energy infrastructure efficient, in terms of designing grids for the future, adding AI elements to the grid that will create flexibility and resilience within grid systems, because the future is electrification. So I think AI is very, very significant, and countries like India, which have actually made immense strides in the area of EI, are really positioned to benefit from this.
How fragile are global climate commitments if major economies like the U.S. scale back their net zero ambitions?
Well, I think the first thing we have to say about this is that the vast majority of scientists in the world and global populations believe climate change is a reality and are living it every day. We're seeing the impacts of climate change around the world. Having said that, I think it's recognized around the world that combating climate change is a priority for the international community. There are some countries, the United States recently withdrew from the Paris Agreement, but we see the logic of climate action has acquired its own momentum now. I was very struck yesterday by a Bloomberg article that talked about the index of clean tech stocks that have mushroomed over the last year. So I think that the rest of the world really understands that this is a priority, but also understands that climate action, investing in the future, investing in a clean economy, and creating a safe environment for your people continues to be a priority. So I'm not at all worried. And I think if you just look at the energy sector, you see how energy is transforming overnight. The capacity additions of renewables, the clean energy, the electrification, the grid upgrades that we're seeing, these are all indicators that we are on a positive pathway. Whether we're fast enough is a question, but we are on a positive pathway that's now irreversible.
China's pace of clean energy deployment is unmatched. Can India replicate that scale while maintaining affordability and energy security?
Well, China has made remarkable progress. I think it's unprecedented what they're doing in terms of the transition to a clean energy economy. And they have invested in this for a long time, and it's been driven by a very stable and very predictable industrial policy. I think in India's case, we're seeing some similar trends. The addition of renewables has grown dramatically in India. It has democratized energy. We have decentralized generation now in India that is reaching communities that never had access to modern energy services before. And we're seeing the beginnings of infrastructure development, grid updates that are going to create this new reality. I think what is really required in India is much more of an emphasis on the industrialization, on technological innovation, and on creating an ecosystem that is capable of supporting rapid development and rapid momentum on energy transition. And I think with the scientific and technological capabilities that exist in India, this is achievable.
As demand for copper, lithium, and rare earths skyrockets, what must India do to avoid new dependencies in its clean energy push?
The critical minerals issue is very, very topical right now. And I think there are a few fundamentals we need to understand about this. The first is that when we talk about rare earth minerals are really not that rare. They're available in many places, including in India. The real issue is how do you develop the capacity to refine and process these rare earth minerals into usable elements for energy transition. Now, I think what's happened in the recent past is China, for instance, has invested over the last 25 years in creating an ecosystem that focuses on rare earth processing and have established a market dominance in this field. Recently, the discussions we've had around trade disruptions, around geopolitical tensions has created a kind of supply situation and a sense that there is a monopoly environment in these minerals. I think every country has the possibility of being part of this supply chain in one place or another. India has the possibility, but again, it's the same as scaling up renewables, is developing the industrial capacity for processing and refining that is going to be at the crux of this. And I think that is another area where we're going to see a number of countries. The US recently announced an agreement with Japan and South Korea and others to start focusing on this. But this is going to be an area where many are going to be looking at how to diversify these supply chains. And I think within that, India has an important role to play.
In your view, what will define India's leadership in the global energy transition over the next decade?
India has a population of over 1.2 billion. It's a fast-growing economy. It's an economy that will need to sustain its growth rate over time, and that growth rate will depend on its ability to transform its industrial base and its energy system. And I think that all of the various elements that could enable India to do that are in place. But what is really required is to create a regulatory environment and a permitting environment that actually allows this development to move, that allows investors to have the security of their investment. And with the energy demand that exists in India, I believe rapid growth can happen, but it will require a reliance on planning, on really establishing a kind of a planning framework that incentivizes investment and also creates opportunities for affordable energy to the population that currently is energy poor.